Over the past 5 years, I've been fortunate enough to help over 135 men fix their skinny fat physique by losing body fat and gaining muscle. So I wanted to make this video and go through everything that I've learned so far. So before I go through everything I've learned, I just want to make sure I clarify what a skinny fat physique is, because I do get a lot of DMs saying, hey, am I skinny fat? And there are kind of general guidelines of what a skinny fat physique is, but essentially when I say skinny fat, I'm referring to men that want to lose body fat and they want to gain muscle. They've got a lack of muscle and they've got excessive body fat. They could be quite skinny and have no muscle and quite a lot of body fat, or they could be relatively muscular but still quite slim. They want to lose the body fat and they still have size they'd like to add. Either way, they've got the same goal of building a muscular, lean, bigger, stronger, better physique for themselves. Now I'm going to jump straight in with the first most important thing, and I do say this in all of my videos, but it is very, very important that if you're skinny fat or you're trying to fix that issue, don't start with a bulk, which is crazy because I started with a bulk and a lot of people still start with bulks, and it's kind of easy and it sounds exciting, right? Go and get muscle, go and eat loads of food, it'd be great, and once you've got all the muscle, it'll be easier to lose the body fat. And there's definitely truth to that, and at the end of the day, if that's what you prefer to do, who am I to say what you can and can't do, right? But in my experience of working with over 135 men, if you start a bulk when you've got a skinny fat physique, give it 2-3 months, you're going to be very unhappy with what you see, because even though you might gain some muscle, you're still going to gain some body fat alongside that. So if you've already got body fat you don't like, maybe it's your chest, maybe it's double chin or the lower back, or any area that you're kind of currently unhappy with, it's only going to get bigger as you do that bulk. You're kind of going backwards before you go forwards, which means you have to voluntarily kind of look and feel worse. And, you know, let's say you've got a holiday or a vacation coming up whilst you're doing this kind of bulk, you're probably going to regret that choice. And I have had some clients where they're absolutely adamant. They're like, no, let's start with the bulk. Let's start with the bulk. And I put them on the leanest bulk possible, right? But they still go, well, I am getting bigger and stronger, but, you know, my love handles aren't going anywhere. I was like, well, we are eating in a surplus. We are bulking, so they aren't going to go anywhere until the end of it. And even then it's going to take a while, right? Just being honest. And they always end up regretting starting with the bulk first. So with the skinny fat physique, I always recommend starting with a recomposition, right? Not a straight up cut where you drop your calories down, do loads of cardio, eat salads, avoid carbs, like most people do when they think of a cut, because what's going to happen then is you're going to get skinnier, right? You're basically losing muscle, or any muscle that you could have had, and you'll lose a bit of body fat as well, but you're not really setting yourself up to succeed. So by the end of it, you're going to be a very, very skinnier fat person, right? A smaller version of skinny fat. However, with a recomposition, yes, it's still like a cut. I always have people in the comments going, oh, it's still a cut, mate. Yes, it is, right? A cut is losing weight, but we're trying to lose body fat, not muscle, and we're trying to potentially gain muscle, recompositioning what the body's made out of, lose body fat, gain muscle, which you can do in a calorie deficit, which back in the day I thought was impossible, but over the past 5 years helping these men achieve this result, I've seen that it is very possible. I always use my clients as a reference point to show you that, you know, the proof's in the pudding. Here's a bunch of clients that I've helped fix the skinny fat physique with a calorie deficit, and I'm going to show Reese predominantly because he's the most dramatic example of someone that's lost body fat but gained muscle whilst being in a calorie deficit. So what's the secret of doing that? How is that even achieved, right? Is he just doing cardio and salads and magically gain muscle? Is he taking drugs? What's the scenario? How's he done it? And the answer to that question is, we just did a recomposition where we aimed for a smaller calorie deficit, right? So this is one of the things I've learned with skinny fat physiques, a smaller calorie deficit. Instead of going, right, my maintenance is 3,000, I'll just put it at, 1,800, or I'll just go to 800. Some people actually go down to 800 and fast and do all these gimmicky things, and they do it for a few weeks and think, yeah, this is working, because the scale weight comes down and they've still got loads of energy, right? Because they've still got loads of carbs and glycogen in their system, so they still feel good. Once they get like 3, 4, 5 weeks in and they start to deplete themselves of glycogen and they're not topping themselves up and they run on empty, they crash, they binge, they fall off, and then they jump on the next trend, right? Trend, not trend. So they end up just starving themselves and binging, because it's not sustainable, right? So a small calorie deficit means a few things. It means 1, you're going to lose body fat. 2, you're eating enough calories to be sustainable, so you can be more flexible with your calorie intake. You're going to have more energy overall, but you're still achieving that deficit, so you're still going to lose body fat whilst not making yourself incredibly hungry. And then thirdly, your performance is going to be better as well as your recovery. So it means when you go to the gym, you can still train hard, you can still lift a decent amount of weight, which means small calorie deficit, you're less likely to go catabolic and lose muscle and size, but you are still achieving that deficit, so you're more than likely to lose body fat. So with Reese here, that's what we did. We aimed for a small calorie deficit, somewhere between 300 and 500 below his maintenance, once we factored in his workout plan. We then tracked his calories and slowly adjusted them as and when needed. So the calories will come down gradually, don't get me wrong. You can't just cut on 3,000 unless your activity is through the roof, and that's not practical if you've got a job or a family to look after, or responsibilities as you get older. So he had a small calorie deficit, we monitored his weigh-ins, we reviewed his photos and made adjustments as and when needed. And due to that, he was able to eat enough to be flexible and sustainable. So he was able to stick to it long term. And this transformation was done in 12 months on the dot. Naturally, no supplements, no BS. And I think the lowest his calories got to was about 1,900, which is relatively low depending on who you ask, but to get that shredded and gain that much muscle and completely lose all the body fat is pretty good going. And he was only in the gym 2 to 3 days per week. So you don't have to starve yourself, you don't have to do loads of cardio, you don't have to eat crazy low calories to get the best results possible. It's about being manageable. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, well, how do you know those numbers? How shall I work out mine? When do I adjust them? What macro split should I go for? I've put together a little free guide. That's a nutritional blueprint. It's in the bio. You can download that for free. Over 1,000 people have downloaded it so far, and it's been working really well. Plus, as a side note, that's what I needed, right? If you don't know about me, long story short, I spent 6 years training and eating and taking all the supplements everyone told me to have. I was having all the chicken, broccoli, and rice, and I just looked the same, to be honest with you. Got fitter, got stronger, felt good, mentally felt good as well, but I didn't change my physique whatsoever. And I thought, maybe there's something wrong with me. Bottom line was my calories weren't right. As soon as I started tracking, I was able to gain 40 pounds, very, very lean within 9 months without steroids. The only thing I did take was like whey protein and a few multivitamins. And then I did play around with creatine, which, you know, just made me way more on the scale. So maybe 32 pounds of muscle. Let's account for a bit of water weight there. But either way, I gained an incredible amount of lean muscle just by getting my calories right. So definitely, if you don't know your numbers and you're not tracking and you're serious about getting results, or you've plateaued, please go and get to know your numbers. That will fix the majority of your problems if you're hitting a plateau. So that's kind of covering the calorie side of things when it comes to fixing the skinny fat physique. The other thing was, I used to think, right, okay, well, you know, losing body fat, what do people think of? Straight away, they go, right, cardio, fasting, low carb. When I had clients in the earlier stages, we would do lots of treadmill work, we'd do like circuits, all the typical personal trainer stuff, and wasn't really getting anywhere, right? It's a bit boring, it wasn't that sustainable, it was very hard to progress and advance over time, and people would lose muscle. So we started focusing on getting stronger, retaining muscle. And if we're doing cardio, we do it at the end of the workout or on rest days. Instead of just doing weight training, we just sprinkled in a little bit of cardio here and there. But to be honest with you, the majority of transformations that you see on my page or my socials, I'd say 90% of them don't do cardio. And that's not because cardio is bad, and that's not because they're lazy. It's because most people that I work with are incredibly busy and they've got very limited time to exercise. So if we've got limited time to exercise, we're going to pick what's most optimal. And for all these skinny fat guys, it was getting stronger in the gym. That was one big lesson I learned when I was helping all these skinny fat men lose body fat and gain muscle, is they had to get stronger. Because if you think about it logically, right, so take all the, you know, this doctor said this and this guy said that and this influencer on steroids who's lying about it said this. Let's just think logically. Our bodies adapt to what we put it through. And if you're just doing loads of running and eating in a calorie deficit, you're going to lose weight, but you're also going to lose muscle because your body doesn't need it. You'll still have some muscle, of course. You're not going to just shrink. But I actually have had clients that have done excessive cardio and lost a lot of muscle, and they had to come back to me and work with me to get the muscle back. Shout out Luke. So think about it logically, right? If you're getting stronger in the gym and you're eating plenty of protein, you've got a slight calorie deficit, your body's going to have to make up that deficit somewhere. So it's going to use the stored body fat. And because you're getting stronger and because you're putting your body through its paces and it's being demanded to get stronger in the gym, you're going to have a bias towards keeping lean mass and losing body fat. It's very, very simple. The problem is statements like that. I could say anyone on the internet can say what they want about fitness, right? And there's always that survivor's bias of, well, I did fasting and it worked for me. Everyone's going to say what they did and claim that it worked for them. I'm not going to deny that you can try different things, right? But what's the common denominator? What's worked the most consistently? What's the most backed by science? And that is getting stronger in a calorie deficit, which is hard to do, but that's going to help you keep as much muscle as possible. And if you're still new to the gym, if you still have not really been training consistently, you can still get a lot of newbie gains. And that's exactly what happened with Reese. He actually had a personal trainer before working with me, and he did all the cliche stuff. No carbs after 6, do this box jump. Okay, get on the treadmill whilst I text my friends. Right, see you next week, mate. See you later. Packed him on the ass. See you later. And he looked the same. Didn't get any progress. Did it for a few months, got really fed up and just thought, screw this. Then he saw that I was getting good results with my clients and he was like, look, mate, I've already got a PT, but what are you doing that's different? And I was like, well, here's how I've done this with my clients. Here's what we do. It's very specific to a skinny fat physique. If you want to lose body fat and gain muscle, that's what I do. He liked the sound of it, jumped on board, and he was able to get one of the best transformations so far. So yes, you could say, you know, oh, fasting works great, mate. Oh, I tried this, I tried that. Creatine's the best, blah, blah, blah. The bottom line is everything's going to work a little bit. But if we're going to cut around all the fluff and all the, you know, cherry-picked studies, just getting stronger with a calorie deficit that's smaller is going to be just a simple, optimal way. And I hope that kind of just gets to the point and helps you in this video, because if you're watching this, you're probably struggling with the skinny fat physique. And I don't want to give you all this like, oh, it's your microbiomes. Take L-carnitine and L-glutamine. And yeah, this guy on steroids recommends this particular brand of protein because he's being paid by them. Like, that is literally the fitness advice that most people get, right? That's the whole reason I make these videos. They come across a bit ranty, But, from the age of 14 to about 21, I didn't really see much progress. And that's because I was doing all the creatine, protein powder. Oh, no carbs after 6, bro. If you do eat carbs, make sure it's sweet potato and brown rice. Have some fish, no salt, no ketchup. It was miserable and I got nowhere, mate. And then when I realized, okay, well, my calories aren't right and no one told me that the calories make a big difference and they need to be adjusted over time and that I need to train specifically for my body. And again, your body will adapt and hit plateaus over time. So you need to be diverse with your training at the right times. I was like, oh, so it's simpler than everyone's making out. You don't need all these supplements. You don't need all these wacky, crazy programs that you've been made up to look good on Instagram. It is just basically being consistent and improving consistently over time. That is it. So I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, it's boring. It's not a revelation, but people need reminding, right? That's what I'm here to do. So with a skinny fat physique, a lot of people are going to think they need to do a massive bulk at the start to gain a load of muscle, which often means they get, bigger and unhappy, and then they just evolve into a powerlifter, or they just carry on perma bulking knowing they've got this massive behemoth of a cut waiting for them that they don't want to start, or they jump on a massive cut, get skinny and think this ain't working, I don't like it. So a recomposition is what I would suggest. You can work out your numbers down below to figure that out. And when it comes to the training side, getting stronger is going to be your friend. Even if it's just a simple pull push legs or push pull legs or whatever, upper lower body if you're super busy, or you can do every muscle group per week. You can do arms, you can do chest, you can do shoulders, whatever. As long as you're hitting each muscle group per week, so it's balanced in terms of postural development and physique development, and you're logging your workouts on a notepad or on an app and you're slowly progressing them over time, and maybe you hit a plateau and then not progressing, at least you know what to change or what you could try. It just gives you control of your progression. You don't need a fancy PDF training plan from your favorite influencer. You don't need to take every supplement that all these guys that are being paid to promote it don't even take. It's weird, isn't it? Just a side tangent. They're like massive and jacked, and then they go, right, here's the product I use. Just like, that's just come out, mate. Like, how are you claiming that's the reason you look that good? Do you know what I mean? And to be honest, and everyone knows this now, but most people are on steroids. Most people are, and I'm not even having a go at those people. I'm just saying that these guys are giving advice. Like, let's say I took steroids, which I don't, but let's say I took steroids and got massive. And I go, right, guys, what it was is I started having coffee in the mornings. People are going to believe that. I go, right, okay, coffee, anabolic coffee, lovely. Mention the drugs, mate. Like, so there's so many fitness influencers that take gear and then claim it was this product because they're paying them this month. It's just so full of crap. I know I'm ranting and going off topic here, but the whole point of these videos is I just want to get the basic information back out there. I have genuinely gotten calls with people and they're going, this guy told me to have chicken, broccoli and rice, but he must know what he's talking about because he's massive. And it's like, yeah, he's massive because he's taking a drug, bruv. Like, are you taking the drug? If you're going to take the drugs and he's going to help you, that's fine. That's equal playing ground, isn't it? If you're not going to take steroids and you hire a guy that's on steroids telling you how to gain muscle, that's like hiring someone that's won the lottery to tell you how to make money. It's just ridiculous, but people still do it. And if you don't like that and you hate it, leave me a hate comment and hit dislike. I don't mind. But anyway, these 5 years of helping skinny fat men, I've learned that it really is as simple as a smaller calorie deficit, high protein, tracking those numbers and getting them right, getting stronger in the gym and progressing either with reps, weight, intensity, form, frequency, volume, whatever, some form of progressive overload that you would change every so often, and making sure that you're adjusting your calories as and when you need to. And then you can sprinkle in some cardio. Cardio will help. It will speed up the process. Just don't do too much of it that you start to lose muscle through adaptation. That's it. If you follow those things properly, you're going to get a really good head-turning transformation. You might watch this and go, that's all obvious, mate. The hard part is, how do I fit that around my work? How do I stick to it when I lose motivation? What do I do if I get distracted? What if I get invited out for a curry? What if it's my girlfriend's birthday? There's all these things that will get in the way, and that's life, right? Life is busy. There's never going to be this magical, mythical, like, oh, I'll start when I'm not busy. When I've got nothing to do for 12 months and I'm just sat still, I'll do it then. And guess what? When that actually happened with the shutdown that we had due to the people still didn't do it. So instead of bullshitting yourself, find a way to learn how to stick to it. Make it work for you. Take one step closer. Put your gym clothes in your work bag if that's what you need to do. Just find ways to do it. Now, I also am a coach, and I'll be honest with you, all these transformations here, a lot of these people knew what to do, okay? But they worked with me to give them the accountability, the structure, the support, the guidance, everything they needed to make sure they got it done properly. And a lot of people overlook that. If you've struggled to stay on track on your own, or you're not seeing progress, or you just haven't got the time to really go through those numbers and make it work for you, and it's just another thing to the to-do list that's ever growing, that's when hiring a coach is a helpful thing. Now, I'm not just saying, because I am a coach, right? It comes across bias. I hate saying, hire a coach, because I'm a coach, because that's what all these people do. If you're struggling, you probably need a coach. And I'm not even saying hire me, because you might have a coach at your gym that you think is really good. You might be following someone that you think is great. Just hire them. If you think they're good, if they got proof in the pudding, if they can show that they've managed to get people the results that you want, go and hire them if you can, or at least talk to them and find out if you can do it. Because I procrastinated on getting a coach for 6 years. I thought I knew everything, and yet I didn't get any results. And the amount of times I hear people go, yeah, I know what to do, mate. but they don't do it. So they need a coach to help them do it. It's just how we work. If you said, oh, I'm going to get up early and you don't do it, who cares, right? If you've got a coach that's going to make sure you do it, you're probably going to do it, right? It's just how we evolve. It's just how we take action as human beings. We don't want to let other people down. We don't want to be a liar because we said we're going to do something and didn't do it. And a lot of my clients have said to me, having that touch point each week, going through the messages, having a weekly check-in and review through video one-to-one has been the reason they've stayed on track and made better decisions. And then that was what builds the momentum, get the transformation. And all these transformations here have had me as their coach. So that's why they've got the results. Obviously, they put in the work. I'm not taking all the credit. I'm just saying, if you're struggling and you need some help, consider hiring a coach. And if you do want to work with me, I don't just work with anyone. So if you do want to work with me, just book a call below. It will be with me. It's not going to be some VA or closer or some pressure sales call. It's essentially just me going, can I actually help you? Here's how it works. Do you want to join? Yes or no? If I've got space. So book a call below if that's something you're considering. If you have any questions or you want to inquire or you just need some help, drop me a message on Instagram at Elite Transformation Project. And yeah, I hope this video's helped. If there's anything I haven't answered in this video that I can help you with, please drop a comment, hit subscribe and all that malarkey, share it with your nan, whatever. Have yourself a great day, and I hope this video's helped you out.